The shocking truth behind Akira Neyo's sudden conversion from a star shortstop prospect to a pitcher wasn't simply an expedient move by the Chunichi Dragons to utilize his powerful arm. It was the inevitable, brutal realization by Kazuyoshi Tatsunami that the celebrated infielder had a fundamental, career-ending flaw in his defensive mechanics, a flaw that Tatsunami, himself one of NPB's greatest shortstops, spotted almost instantly, but kept secret until the very last moment.
Welcome to 615 Aldea Baseball, where we dissect the brutal, high-stakes decisions that define the fortunes of Japanese baseball dynasties. And today, we're pulling back the curtain on the most controversial position change of the decade, a story of impossible expectations and cold, analytical necessity.
When Tatsunami, the Dragons' legend, appeared at a recent fan event alongside manager Inoue, the air was light, filled with good-natured banter. But when the inevitable question about Neyo's conversion arose, Tatsunami's tone shifted entirely. He didn't waffle. He spoke with the blunt, undeniable authority of a Hall of Famer who had lived and breathed the six-hole. I looked at Neyo's knock drills, I looked at his game footage, and I immediately thought, shortstop is too difficult for him. This isn't just typical manager critique. This is a master craftsman finding a critical structural fault in the apprentice's work. Tatsunami explained that during the crucial 6-4-3 double play, the very heartbeat of infield defense, Neyo struggled consistently with the short throw from the deep hole to second base. A professional shortstop, especially one expected to anchor an NPB defense, must execute that throw with precise stability and accuracy, ideally hitting the target perfectly 5 times out of 10. Tatsunami, drawing on his own peerless career, claimed that Neyo's throws showed too much scatter, an inconsistency that would, inevitably, cost the team critical runs in high-leverage situations. Many fans, and even some commentators, cried foul, suggesting that Tatsunami simply lacked patience, or that Neyo, still young, could overcome these mechanical hiccups. They point to his athletic gifts, his raw power, and his high draft status. But let's pause and look at the brutal facts. Tatsunami's assessment was a lifeline, not a punishment. If Neyo had simply been moved to second base, he still would have faced the challenge of the pivot and the lack of range compared to elite specialists like Mikami or Matsumatsu, players who are the same age and whose defensive metrics far surpassed Neyo's from day one would have been glaring. Furthermore, the problem wasn't limited to the glove. Tatsunami, the ultimate authority on hitting in Nagoya, also addressed the bat, stating flatly that while Neyo could certainly crush the ball with a metal bat in high school, the transition to NPB's wooden bat proved catastrophic. We felt he would struggle significantly in the professional ranks, Tatsunami admitted. To lend weight to this diagnosis, consider the data. In the minor leagues, Neyo was showing a trend that analysts call power trap, where his high strikeout rate against professional breaking balls negated the occasional flashes of power. Specifically, his batting average in knee gun was plateauing around a worrying .230, and his hard hit rate against pitchers with high spin rates was steadily declining. Simply put, his offensive ceiling was not high enough to justify keeping him as a full-time position player, when his defense at the premier position was deemed insufficient. The internal conflict within the Dragons' front office during this period must have been intense. Tatsunami had invested months in conversation with Neyo, gradually presenting the harsh reality. It wasn't a sudden demand. It was a carefully managed pivot aimed at preserving the player's career potential, not destroying it. The ultimate question was, if he can't hack it at shortstop, and his bat isn't strong enough for an NPB corner outfielder spot, especially since he doesn't possess the elite speed of an Okabayashi, where does he go? The answer, according to Tatsunami's cold calculus, was the mound. Many people asked why I converted him to a pitcher, Tatsunami recalled, but I truly believed he had nothing else. This is the chilling climax of the story, the realization that the Dragons weren't choosing the better path, they were choosing the only path that offered a sliver of hope. This conversion was a gut-check moment for Tatsunami, requiring immense courage, because disappointing a highly anticipated first-round pick inevitably garners massive fan backlash and scrutiny. Yet, Tatsunami's decision reveals a deep, almost paternal commitment to Neyo's future. He saw the exceptional arm strength and the fierce, scholarly dedication Neyo brought to the game, traits that, while insufficient for a top shortstop, are prerequisites for a successful pitcher. Neyo himself, despite the massive challenge of transitioning from infielder to mound specialist, has embraced the conversion, stating in a 2025 interview that he is determined to make the change a success, not just for his own career, but to vindicate Tatsunami's controversial faith.
He understands the burden of responsibility, knowing that if he fails, Tatsunami will bear the brunt of the criticism. Now, Neyo is fighting for his place, specifically leveraging the open relief slot that requires high-velocity, short-burst specialists. His physical development, pitching technique, and mental fortitude have measurably improved, validating the initial belief that his arm was his most valuable asset.
While some counterarguments still linger, perhaps he should have tried center field, where his strong arm could be utilized, as some suggested, the fact remains that without the bat to match, even a strong arm in the outfield is secondary. Tatsunami's assessment, which forced Neyo to find a new identity, was brutally decisive, facing a future where he struggled to hit .200 in the first division and remained a defensive liability at shortstop. The change to pitching wasn't just logical, it was destiny. It was a cold, iron-willed decision made to salvage a promising talent from fading into the long list of unfulfilled NPB potential. It was Tatsunami securing his legacy not by playing, but by making the hardest possible choice for a young man who truly deserved a second chance. We've delved deep into the analytical necessity behind the conversion, but what do you think? Was Tatsunami absolutely right to pull the plug on Neyo's career as a position player so early? Or should he have given the former star prospect one more full season to adjust to the wooden bat?
Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, share it with your fellow baseball fanatics, and subscribe to 615 Aldea Baseball for more intense deep dives into the world of Japanese baseball.